everyone, and welcome to Lunch with Dodie. I'm really excited today about our special guest, Nicki Marazzani, and she's with United Way, and she has a special program called Villages. And it's a very exciting program with lots of great resources and a lot of valuable information for seniors. And I'm going to let her talk all about it. Welcome, Nicki.
Great, thank you for having me today. This is always fun to come to Silverton and hang out with Dodie. So my name is Nicki Marazzani, and I am the program manager for Villages United, a program of United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley. And I've been in nonprofits for over 30 years, which I can't believe I can say that, but it's been a while. And I'm very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing right now and meeting so many great people. So I'm going to go through a little bit about what Villages United is and some of the things that we're trying to solve with having it. So Villages United, our motto is live your best life on your own, but not alone. And our mission is to build community and help seniors age in place, which means remain in their homes longer, by utilizing the village model, connecting seniors needing limited assistance with local volunteers willing to provide small acts of service. Village to Village is a national movement for seniors, and it's been around since, I think, '82. But each village acts and runs on its own. So United Way took us in as a program over a year ago, which is great because that helps our reach not only in Marion County, but we can start villages in Polk and Yamhill County also. So what is a village? A village is membership driven, grassroots, nonprofit organization based in specific areas. So right now we have a very active village in South Salem, and we're hoping for Silverton to be our next village because you have a very active senior community. Villages are run by volunteers and minimal paid staff. So I say that because there's me, and then I work part-time, and then I have a supervisor who works even more part-time. And so volunteers run and organize, and I just kind of connect the dots for everybody. It is organized volunteer-driven services that include transportation, yard services, social visits, friendly phone calls, classes, monthly meetings, and socials. We hope to provide a positive impact, minimizing isolation, building independence, and gives health and purpose while minimizing the overall cost of care. So sometimes your care might include rides, it might include grocery store visits, or other services that you might have to hire somebody to do. And this way we're connecting you with other volunteers in your neighborhood to help you with those things. Villages works to provide the needs of members to keep them living healthy and happy, living independently, and staying in their homes longer. Why villages are needed? Villages are well positioned to improve the population health of the communities they serve. Until the year 2029, 10,000 people will turn 65 on a daily basis. So we're very much an aging population. Just for example, in Britain and the United States, roughly 1 in 3 people older than 65 live alone. And in the United States, half of those older than 85 live alone. Studies in both countries show the prevalence of loneliness among people older than 60, ranging from 10% to 46%. Loneliness is the feeling of being alone. And regardless of the amount of social contact, social isolation is a lack of social connections. So for instance, the first few people that signed up for Villages when I started with Villages over a year and a half ago, I actually went out to my car afterwards and cried. And that was because my house is chaotic. I'm a family of 5 with more animals than I can count. We tend to forget that not everybody has that. And some of the people I was going to sign up, I was so happy that they joined because it really meant they didn't have to be alone anymore. They now had a village, and it's really neat to see. And then of course, living independently is very important to people. As we're an aging community, we want to live in our homes longer. We're healthier longer. And just because we might have to give up driving doesn't mean we have to give up our home, because we're still capable of keeping ourselves clean. We're still capable of feeding ourselves. We're still capable of doing everything but driving from A to B. So you shouldn't think because you're not driving anymore, it's time to go to an assisted facility. That's just not the case. The important things about living independently, with just a little bit of help. Sometimes there's physical or mental limitations that come with aging, like the driving or perhaps maybe yard work, but you still have a little bit of help that's needed, raking or fixing a sprinkler head. For most of us, the goal of independence with a little help can be achieved with villages. I wanted to also give a little update on what we've done with COVID. Because we're usually one-on-one helping with each other, and then our socials and meetings have, quite a few more people. We've had to step back. We said, well, with COVID, we don't want you doing one-on-one right now. So let's see what other things we can do to still keep people engaged, because we don't want to come out the other end of COVID and be like, where was Villages this whole time? I started a monthly book club. So we do that online, and then we meet on Zoom once a month to talk about our books. And this has been really good for me because it's taken me out of my comfort zone of reading, right? We're doing our monthly meetings online now. So one Monday night a month, we have a meeting with a guest speaker. And this last Monday, we had a guest speaker who was teaching us how to write our life story and how to get writing, because, for example, I just lost a member last week, and somebody asked me, well, what was he like? Well, I'm able to say what he was like during the time I've known him, and he was amazing. And I always wanted to know more. Mm-hmm. And I thought, if I wanted to know more, I'm sure that there's members of his family that wanted to know more, and now they're not going to get those stories. So we want people to start writing down those stories to pass on generation to generation, so we don't lose our family histories. We do Zoom socials. They're kind of check-ins. Might become a happy hour at some point, but we try to every other week have a Zoom social where people can just come and check in, see how everybody's doing, any concerns, that kind of thing. We still do no contact opportunities. We call our helps opportunities. So we do have some people that are grocery shopping for people. We still have people that are doing some yard stuff for people. They just don't have one-on-one contact. We've been delivering food boxes. Mm-hmm. So United Way took the initiative with COVID to deliver food boxes to over 600 members of the Salem community. And I've been able to also deliver to several members of our homebound seniors. And so that's going to keep going on. It started in March and will keep going until at least the end of November. We have a phone tree. So everybody gets a call and gives a call to check on each other. Mm-hmm. We also have been delivering masks. We have one member that is like the happiest sewer in the world, and she's going to do some Halloween ones for me in the next couple weeks. Yes. But we go make sure everybody has at least 2 masks at all times in case they do have to go out. They aren't worried about not having that. I did Christmas in July. I delivered crazy Christmas sweaters to the doorsteps of all the members and told them not to get rid of them, to hold on to them till December, because whether we're in person or on Zoom, we'll do some fun activities regarding those crazy sweaters, and they were crazy. Last month, we had National Root Beer Float Day, so I set up a root beer float stand in my front yard, and the members could drive by and pick up a root beer float for something fun. There was no contact, and I was suited up and handed it through their window. And then the people that don't drive, we had delivery to, so they could also have a root beer float. For a lot of us, it had been 100 years since we had one, so that was fun. Yeah. And then we just started up with park coffee hours. So I do a sign up for it, and only the first 4 people can come. We're missing seeing each other. So we're gonna meet at the park every other week, just the first 4 people, and you bring coffee in a chair and your mask, and we're just gonna sit and be social. I think they also want to start our walking club back up, but that will also be very limited to just a couple people. So we've been really keeping people involved with 1 or 2 things a week, hoping, that way we kind of keep in touch and know what everybody's up to, and that they're not either sick or feeling lonely. As far as membership goes, to be a member, you just have to be 55 or older. We do have a couple under 55, and that's just because they have a passion for helping seniors, and we are more than happy to have them. And even some of our younger members are doing it now as a volunteer, because they know as they get older, they may need some help. And I see that changeover already happening actually with a few members. So they're already established, they already know people, they're comfortable with them. We do background checks on all volunteers and all non-volunteers, so all of our members, because we never want to not have done our due diligence before we ask somebody to go into somebody's home. Then we do have the two types of membership. We have the volunteer membership, and we also have the non-volunteering membership. The volunteers are people that kind of commit to helping out 12 times a year, and they're welcome to come to all the socials and all of the meetings. And then we have the non-volunteering members, and those are the people that need a little assistance. And they also are welcome to come to every activity that we do.
Mhm.
And they can ask for up to 2 opportunities a week. So they can get help twice a week if they need it. And so far, we've never had an opportunity go unfilled. So we have really good volunteers.
Great.
Now, our job as a village is not to take the place of a senior center. I just want to put that in there. We actually work really close with the senior center, the Center 50 Plus, and then of course, Dodie's been a great supporter. And I think we have 2 different programs completely. And I encourage all of our seniors to be active in their senior centers because they offer so much with their Meals on Wheels and their classes and their I miss your Wednesday morning group that I come hang out with so much.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's just an added service, and people do need help with their homes. We have done, like I said, we fixed sprinkler heads, siding. We did a raking brigade last fall with, we partnered with South Salem High School leadership class. And so I had high school kids working with the seniors to rake yards, and it was the most beautiful thing in the world. And I don't know how much raking we got done because they all wanted to just chat and talk about their life experiences at both 16 and 80. It was great.
That's awesome.
So we do make, we have a lot of partners in the community, and I think that that is great. So what's next? We really want to get Silverton going. We need to get some membership going. We need to start helping people. I think that right now with COVID especially, there's probably a need to help your neighbors more than ever. So I just want to encourage anybody who's interested to email me or call me. My email is Nicki, N-I-C-K-I-M, at unitedwaymwv.org. And that is probably the best way to reach me because I will answer that day or night. Let's get Silverton going. Let's help our neighbors. Let's not forget the people that are homebound and see if we can keep them in their homes as long as they want to be there.
That's great. So Nicki, I had a couple questions.
Sure.
On your Zoom programs, how is your attendance? Are you getting a lot of folks Zooming in? I mean, mine goes kind of back and forth. It fluctuates a lot.
It definitely does. So our last meeting, I think I had 13 people and I've had 3 people.
Okay.
So it really just depends. And I have to remember to send out the instructions every couple weeks, just because if it's not something you do regularly, it's easy to forget how to do it.
I guess I assume once they've done Zoom at least once, they already have it all set up. So just sending them the link, but maybe the how-to is a good idea.
People do forget. I mean, my parents, they're young seniors, and they were unable to get into their 50th anniversary party last week. So, and we've Zoomed many times. I do have to send out the link just real quick on my phone to somebody because they can't get in. But I also, if they're pretty good on smartphones, downloading that app for a backup is a good way to not miss something.
Okay. Now, when things are back to normal, whatever that is, do you actually do your group programs at a spot as a group, or do you plan to always stay virtual?
No, I think virtual is going to be a big part of our program from now on, but we really want to keep people engaged and in touch with each other. That's, it's the loneliness factor is so huge. So as soon as we can safely do it and people are comfortable with it, we'll probably start in smaller groups meeting again. Like our monthly meeting, usually we meet at a church, they donate the room to us, and we can have up to 25 people there. So with Silverton, we'll also do a monthly meeting, but we'll do it in Silverton.
Right.
But Silverton and Salem both, I think, will be invited to all the socials together and stuff, because even though they're not in the same neighborhood, I think it's neat to go, because we came out to Willamette Pie for one of our socials, and that's your next door neighbor almost.
Yeah. Did you talk about what different services you do provide? I mean, you talked about the Zoom and the social interaction, and you do some driving, and as there's caregiver availability, there's housekeeping.
So caregiver would be hard, but people can have those other services and still be a member. So we don't have specifically trained people to be caregivers, and we definitely do not do personal hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have connections with different caregiver businesses in town, as well as some very good connections at the Northwest Senior and Disability Services. Our list of contacts is getting bigger and bigger, and we can usually find somebody for what you need if it's not something one of our members can provide.
Right.
So some other things people have done are like installing window air conditioners and taking them back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yard work. Somebody had surgery and needed their cat litter box changed, and somebody went over and did that. Somebody needed some shorts hemmed last week, and that got done. I am starting to know people's strengths. So sometimes I know one person, he just wants to do handyman stuff. He never wants to drive anybody. He never wants to take care of pets. So if I know it's something handy, I might call him and say, hey, I'm posting this. Do you want to do it?
Yep.
And he jumps on it. But we do let people, if they're like going out of town to visit family or something and need their pets taken care of, that would be something we could do. Oh boy, what else have we had to do? Lots of driving. So to the grocery store or to the doctor's appointments, especially when people, I know they're having eye appointments, I encourage them to get a driver, even if they don't think they need one, because you always get there and they want to dilate your eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
I've seen driving or transportation as one of our biggest needs and issues in Silverton. So say the member needs somebody to drive them. Is that person always going to be the one who drives them, or it might be somebody else?
So we use a online volunteer system, and I send out like a weekly update every Friday that says I've posted new opportunities with a link. It'll say, you know, what's needed for that week. So somebody might need a ride to the doctor, the dentist. This is pretty relaxed as far as what we require of them, because we really just want members to support each other. We don't want to make it so strict that it's not enjoyable.
Right.
And we have some people that just have developed friendships with others, so they're kind of always the first ones to sign up for that person's things.
Right.
And we also want it to not always be the same person, because they should get to know several of their neighbors. It's as you have time to volunteer and things that interest you that you would sign up for.
Awesome. How many volunteers do we have currently, can I ask?
So I have 60 members, and I would say 2/3 of those are volunteering members and 1/3 are people that need help. But I'm finding that some of our volunteers now are starting to need a little bit more help with this or that. So those memberships change, you know, as people age
out. So your minimum age is 55.
Yeah, but I do have younger members. So, well, all my family's members, all my kids are, because I put them to work. But we have one who is turning 55 this year, I think, but she's been a member since the beginning, and she was a doctor in her professional life, and she's now retired. But she is another one that just has a passion for helping seniors and wanted to join right away. And so she'll probably be a member forever.
How do you become a member, and how do we get it started here in Silverton?
Okay. So contact me, and I can always, if you're okay with it, get your information from Dodie and call you next week. I register you, we get going. I think we need 10 members to really make a go of it, maybe 7 volunteers and 3 people that need help. And the funny thing is, once you join and you talk about it, it just grows. People want to do what other people are doing that is helping them.
And United Way is a very well-established organization. You have a great reputation. You've done great things. So it's like a no-brainer. It's an easy one to want to get involved with. United Way has worked with us on several things. Our grant that helped us with our computers, and working with Nicki on the villages. So I could see some definite partnerships. So your volunteers who are members, do they access services also, or are they strictly volunteers?
So if they sign up to be a volunteer, they're considered just volunteers at that time. But if they say they fell and needed surgery or needed recuperation and needed some help, we're of course are going to get them help. If it's long-term, we'd have them change their membership to non-volunteering. But if it's just something temporary, I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So And we do have membership fees, but we also have scholarships, and we fill out grant application after grant application to get money to help people that might not be able to get the membership otherwise.
Have you given out a lot of scholarships?
Yes. Yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit here with membership. I believe that we might have some seniors on limited and fixed incomes that might not be able to afford the annual membership, or if they pay for their membership, they might not be able to afford to do other things that, you know, might have a little extra fee. For example, our membership's $36 a year, but then if you were to attend an exercise class in the past, it'd be a few dollars more for that class.
Right.
So we're trying to work out all of those kinks as we have this time to take a break and a forced break to reevaluate.
Yes, yeah. So we've worked really hard at keeping the membership prices down, and after the first of the year, I believe they are going to have to go up a bit, because we are charging about a third of what it costs to actually have a member with insurance that we carry, and with my part-time and the office and things like that. For instance, in the Midwest, I'd say the average villages, even the Portland villages, is $500 to $600 a year. We will never, ever be that. We know that our areas cannot handle that amount, and the members could not do that. So we're trying to still keep it as low as we can, combined with the grants that we're getting, to provide service for as many people as we can. And we never, ever want somebody to not be a member because they can't.
I agree with that. I don't want money to ever be a factor stopping somebody from doing anything.
Yeah, I feel very, very strongly about that, and I will always argue that point.
So what is your membership fee then right now?
So it's currently, at least till the end of the year, it's $10 for a volunteer. It's $100 for a non-volunteering member. And then we do ask if people can contribute the $25 for the background check, that they do that.
Mm-hmm. I like that background check idea.
We have to. We're expecting people to go in homes and in cars. We want to make sure that we've protected people.
Right. Because in our situation, our volunteers are only volunteering here at the center. They're never at home or alone with anybody. So there's not any potential situations that we put people in.
And I do interview everybody with their membership when they join. I could call it interview. I go visit, because we usually visit a lot with everybody when they join, so that I can kind of get the feel for interests and needs, and they can also ask me any question to do with villages and feel secure.
No, that's great. Are you going to ever do like one day only in Silverton, or you're just going to play it like be real flexible?
I'd love to. So if we get the village going here,
yeah,
I would love to be here a full day every week, especially on our meetings and outing days, and doing more interaction with the seniors in the community. You guys have an awesome senior community. You have a very active senior community.
We have a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. You know, I'm blessed just to know all of them, and to be able to help maybe make a difference in someone's life.
You are.
By providing resources or whatever. Do you, for one of your services, possibly just take people out for a scenic drive if they want to just go for a drive?
We have one member that likes to go to coffee when it's not COVID time, once a week, and she picks a day where most of the people in her building are being visited by family and stuff. She lives independently, but in an apartment. Yeah. And so because she doesn't have family nearby, she goes to coffee that day. So she's getting social time too.
That's great.
This would be really beneficial for us, because we do have a lot of seniors here that are needing some help with things and they don't know where to go.
Exactly. And what's great about this Villages program is you have a certain sense or a certain accountability or guarantee. For example, you're in the system in her program, then you are guaranteed that when you need a ride for a certain thing, that's always going to happen.
Yeah, as we have the volunteers.
Yeah, where with me, I might not always be able to get a volunteer or be able to provide a service with you and your husband being involved. You can also, you're free to do some of that as well. Right. So that you always have a great backup. Yeah. You're always going to be able to meet those needs. Where there's probably a good maybe 50% chance I might not be able to get somebody. You know, typically we get asked for caregivers, transportation, and a little handyman stuff.
Right.
Those are our three big areas. So
Yeah.
do you guys do any yard? You do some yard work, but primarily you're not out there mowing and that sort of thing.
I think if it needed mowed like once in a while because a regular person couldn't do it or something, then somebody would definitely step up and do that. And like I said, always ask, and I'll put it out there, and we'll see if we can find somebody. Like somebody just needed her shower scrubbed while she was recuperating from something, so we took care of that, but we couldn't handle weekly house care.
Right.
That's not what we do.
So,
And I think too, it sounds like it might take some of the pressure off of you from some things that maybe the senior center doesn't need to be working on as hard. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So if we can help connect people to people, and then they can come here for your services and the
Right.
classes and the great stuff that the senior center does.
well, my goal has always been to be the hub of all things seniors, so folks can make better informative choices on proactive aging, from whatever that is, from programming to assistance to resources and referrals, or even the hands-on group and classes,
Yeah.
you know, whatever that might be. And I think that's where we will work really well together on.
No, I agree.
That'd be a great partnership. Are you statewide or nationally? How far do you guys go?
Villages is national, but our village is within reach of our United Way. So we're Polk, Yamhill, and Marion counties that we could start villages if there's interest. As far as driving people for services and stuff, we try to keep them in the area. Like I wouldn't have a Silverton person sign up to help a South Salem person.
Right.
You know, the
right.
idea is to your village to be in your geographical area. So
Right.
that's why those three counties, we could have 20 villages,
Mhm.
and they wouldn't interact with each other unless I plan something with interaction, like a big social or something. When it's in action and it's not COVID time and my 60 seniors are helping each other and showing up at meetings, it's a beautiful thing. Because I always say when we were growing up, way back when, age myself, we helped our neighbors. So if we saw them out picking the cherries off their tree, we took over a ladder and helped them. If we saw their dog get loose, we helped them get their dog, you know. And now sometimes we don't even know our neighbors. We might know the ones right next door, but we don't know the one 3 doors down.
Right.
And I think we're missing a lot of the connection with people in our area, and that helps keep our area safe if we know the people in our areas. My kids were little, and I put them in a wagon with cold water because it was 107 in the town we lived in.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are we doing?" I said, "We're going to see our neighbors." And we went and did check-ins on all our neighbors. And a week later, I actually found one of them on their floor. So had we not made those connections beforehand, we wouldn't have been checking up on them a week later, you know, and it's important for us to know our neighborhoods.
No, that's totally great. I see a big trend in getting back to our neighborhoods and getting to know our neighbors. You know, Silverton just did a Silverton Strong neighborhood night out, where they had people have dinner in their yard, in their neighborhood, but with your other neighbors outside in their yards also. It's a great way, you know, to meet your neighbors and make a great connection, because I think that's what it's all about, just connecting us all.
I think COVID has slowed us down.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're taking that time to do things that we'd never made time for before.
Right.
And I moved into a house the day we went on quarantine.
Oh.
So I thought I'm never going to get to know my neighbors. But you know what? We've waved every day. We've yelled from mailboxes. It's not just go, go, go all the time. And I think we didn't need COVID by any means, but we needed to stop and take some time.
We needed a reminder. Well, this has been awesome, ladies. With that, you know, I guess we'll end today and say, you know, see you next week with Lunch with Dodie. People who are watching this later, you can get a hold of Nicki at United Way Villages, or contact me, Dodie Brokamp, at the Silverton Senior Center, and we can get that information to you, and you can get a great connection set up with Nicki, and, you know, make a difference in someone's life and your own at the same time.